Chief Operations Specialist, United States Navy, arriving. Senior Chief Operations Specialist, United States Navy, retired, arriving. Fleet Area Control and Surveillance Facility, San Diego, arriving. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Lieutenant Commander, United States Navy, Kenneth Minogue will now give the invocation.
Good morning. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we invite your presence as well as your grace and mercies that your words say are new every morning. We thank you today for the opportunity to celebrate with OSC French and the 24 years of dedicated service he's given to the United States Navy and our nation. Grant him a smooth and fruitful transition during this season of change. May this next chapter of his life be filled with new opportunities to explore and enjoy the wonderful life you've created for him and the purpose that follows. We now ask for your hand of blessing and favor to follow Chief French as they sail from this sea to the next. May he see the future with anticipation and joy, and be confident of the promise you extend to us all. Be strong and courageous. Do not tremble or be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. I pray these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Side boards. Post. You may now be seated. Good afternoon. I'm Senior Chief Sadler for the Master Ceremonies. We are gathered this afternoon to witness the final stage of a very full and productive career of 24 years. To Chief French's family, friends, and shipmates, welcome. Thank you for being here. The 1800s saw enlisted men holding retirements for each other for the first time. The captain would allow the jolly boat to take the enlisted retiree ashore. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Commander Robert Ward, Commanding Officer, Fast Track San Diego.
Good afternoon, Fastback. Thank you all for attending. We do appreciate it. Awesome job, Stephen Calvin, with White Blizzard Board, I like that, great job there. Seeing that photographer, thanks for coming out. Chaps, awesome, bad addiction. It's great to have you here, it's great to have a seminar like this, kind of capping off an amazing day, amazing week. Obviously, Fastback always rises to the occasion. Crushed it with the DTOPS inspection, and then here we are saying goodbye to the road. So, Chief French, I wish you the best of luck in the future. I wish you, the greatest luck in West Virginia with the Double Fox company, and the best of luck making hammers and sea chests and things for future generations. So, awesome job. I know you wish your family was here. Hopefully they get to see the pictures and see the video. Just know that Chief French is an amazing man. 24 years of service to the United States Navy. Can't thank you enough for your service and everything you've done for Fastback San Diego. Thanks.
Thank you, Captain. I would like to introduce our guest speaker, retired Senior Chief Petty Officer, Dan Kirk.
Skipper, Chaplain, Jason French, Fastback family. I see a lot of familiar faces in the audience, some who I have had the pleasure to serve with on active duty and Master Chief Wood. Great time serving with you. There are other people at Fastback who I've served with also. I mentioned Lauren Brown, Andrew Dorch. Sorry, I should be addressing them by their ranks, but everybody knows who they are. Jason French. Okay, so Jason, he joined the Navy in December 15th of 1997. He joined in Manassas, Virginia. That was toward the end of 97. He didn't go to boot camp till 98. So the question is, what was everyone doing in 1998? Raise your hand if you were born after 1998. Wow. Okay. I know the chiefs aren't raising their hands. So just to give you a hint on what was going on in 98, Bill Clinton was the president. Any sports fans in here? Awesome. Shaquille O'Neal shoots over 1,000 points while playing for the LA Lakers. The Laker fans? You're a hard crowd. Mark Messier scores his 1600th point in hockey. Pat Riley wins 900 games as coach while coaching at Miami Heat. The Giants defeat the Diamondbacks in Major League Baseball. Peyton Manning was drafted to the Colts. And the Broncos defeat the Green Bay Packers at Qualcomm Stadium in Super Bowl 32. It's a back-to-back win for the Denver Broncos. Hard crowd scared. It's okay to laugh at this. You have permission. In music, let's see. Dr. Dre signs Eminem. The Young Bucks can relate to that. For Jason French here, the Spice Girls landed the most awards at the AMAs. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. There you go. Titanic was the first movie to gross over $1 billion in the box office. Honorable mentions were Saving Private Ryan and Rush Hour. In consumer news, Intel launched the 333 megahertz Pentium processor, working on the Windows 98 system. Apple launches its first iMac. Any Apple users in here? And the price of gas was $1.03. Cheaper in some areas. In Navy-related notables, the first African-American female, Lillian Fishburne, was promoted to Rear Admiral. It's a very significant achievement at that time. Skipper graduated high school. And the P3, which he learned to fly in, which he taught people to fly in, was 40 years old at that time. I remember Jason French. We were in Naples, Italy. Arleigh Burke was only 2 months into its deployment. We deployed not knowing what we would do. It was Naples, Italy. Again, 2 months into deployment. It was already our 8th port visit. And the reason being was because in 1998, the Navy was running out of money. And so it was cheaper to keep the ships in port. running on one gas turbine just to keep the power on. So we went from port to port. In Naples, Italy, we stayed in port for 8 days, which is unheard of today. Today, it's unheard of to pull in port. Let's see. Arleigh Burke was the first class of the ship. Standards were extremely high. I will tell you, meeting the namesake while he was still alive, there was a motto on board, and you may have heard it before. This ship was built to fight, you had better know how. And that was something that was really emphasized to every crew member that checked on board. And Jason will tell you, the first thing you got was a PQS, and you commenced training day one. And it wasn't qualifying for the fact of qualifying. If you qualified with something, you better know everything. I have a little PTSD from that ship. I can tell you that a red phone is a TA-970, or the IFF interrogator was the APX-72. That's why. Mark 99 illuminator, Tyler 2. I can tell you, you have 84 computers. But you get my point. Everywhere you went, you towed it around a PQS, and you were drilled. Remember, Seaman French at the time, his first qualification was a navigation plot. And I remember walking over to the navigation plot and just talking about life in general. Who would have thought that 27 years later I'd be speaking at his retirement ceremony? It was a very unique ship. It was very hard. We didn't have females on board at the time. It was not configured. Eventually we would get 2 female divos. We worked hard, we played hard. The ship got almost every award you can in every warfare area. And being the first of the ship, it was a model ship. We couldn't screw up. We never had any CASREPs, we got what we needed. Again, the ship was really built to fight. We always wanted battle lead. We always wanted ASW hook 'em aboard. In times of change right now, if you walk into a CIC, when you walk into combat, every console has a computer on it. We had one computer, and it was solely for message traffic. We had no phones. We had no email. If you wanted to talk on the phone, MRSAT was $15 a minute. Now, if you look at the modern CIC, you can see how much it has evolved. So times weren't, I would say, the same. I remember writing email, we were writing mail, and it was snail mail, and every time you had your significant other write you, they had the number of the letters, because sometimes you would get letter 3 before you got letter 1. And if you opened letter 3, you'd be like, what are you talking about? And then you would find out, maybe a month later, when you got your mail. The news, we didn't have any internet on board, so whatever news that you were told was the news you know. A lot of good leaders came off of that boat. Vice Admiral John Nell was the Chief of Naval Personnel, was our operations officer. My LPO who taught me everything I knew was OS1 Daryl Trent, who is now Captain Daryl Trent, Commander Carrier Air Wing 8. And this was a model boat. Everywhere, Petty Officer French will tell you, Chief French will tell you that everywhere we sailed, it was a showboat. We emphasized the term once over dust, twice over rust. That's not what I'm about. And they invented the term dip the ship. Because we were in Norfolk and so many dignitaries came to the boat, you would not see one speck of rust on the ship. European at night also. It was an old crew at the time, a lot of old salts, and the way they dealt with problems back in those days are not the same as how we deal with them today. You know, I'm proud to say that I'm glad to see where the Navy is at right now and how we're handling things, especially for our personnel. Because back in those days, it was suck it up, Chuck. And the Navy realized that personnel is one of its biggest assets. You look around then, and you look around now, you look at the diversity. It's something to be extremely, extremely proud of. Looking at Chief French's career, he taught after Arleigh Burke, he taught Gamnick, Virginia. He taught the tactical decision subsystem, computer-aided dead reckoning tracer, and radar navigation. from 2002 to 2006. I don't think the Arleigh Burke went through your class, Jason, because in 2007, Arleigh Burke would go soft to ground. That was a joke. Okay. October. Say again.
They didn't go through my class.
Okay. In 2006 and 2010, Jason French reported to another first of his class, LCS2 USS Independence. He brought her out on our maiden voyage. 2010 to 2012, we served on the Nitsy DG-94, and was later cross-decked to USS McFall. Where McFall, he would be part of the response to the diplomatic missions attack in Libya. Furthermore, he would go 2013 to 2012 to CSCS at Norfolk, teaching ASW Evaluator and ASW Watch Officer. 2016 to 19, he would later serve on USS Halsey. Furthermore, on USS Stockville, and eventually he ended up at Fax San Diego, October 20 to December 21st. So as you can see, looking at the platforms that Chief French been on, he's been on the first of his class, Arleigh Burke, and he has seen how the DDG family of ships has progressed from where they're at today. It's a pretty impressive feat. I asked Chief French what was he going to do when he got out. And he simply said, woodwork. And I said, great, where are you going to go? And he said, Kearnsville, West Virginia. Anybody heard of that town? Discovered? So I went on Google Earth, and I went to, you take the man and you put it in the center of town and see what's there.
Trees.
Trees, rolling hills, a gas station, and a convenience store. Which made me got to thinking. A lot of us get out of the military and a lot of us pursue these, who's heard the story? Oh, I'm going to get a contracting job making $100,000, right? I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And we never end up there. Chief French is one of the very few chiefs who retire and say that they're going to go back home and do what they love doing the most, their passion. When I retired, Chief Master, you were there. I was supposed to get into finance, and I did all of that, but I realized that it wasn't my passion. And look where I'm at here today. I love serving here at Fax San Diego, helping active duty warfighters do the things they do, because you guys are a great bunch of people. So that's one thing that I want you guys to think about. That's one of my driving points here today, speaking of his retirement ceremony. Do you have a plan? Especially for the young sailors, ask yourself, where do you see yourself 10 years from now? The average sailor retires from the Navy when they're 40 years old. The average male lives to 86. The average female lives to 88. So when you retire from the military, you're not even halfway through life. So seriously ask yourself that question, where do you see yourself 10 years from now? You have to have a roadmap to where you're going. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm having fun. All right. So what's in Kearnsville, West Virginia, Jason? I found out that it was home to Continental General Horatio Gates. That is it. Nearby there is a Air Reserve base. And there's nothing else military-wise. Yeah, so you went furthest from the Navy headship, mate. I ran out of clip notes here, but first I would like to thank you, Chief French, for allowing me to speak at your retirement ceremony. It's not something I often do. This is my first time, or second time at a ceremony, first time as a retiree. So hopefully I've given you guys some valuable information with regards to where you want to be in life. And hopefully you have come up with that 10-year plan I was telling you about. What else is there? I know it's Friday afternoon. You guys are probably wanting to get out of here and get some liberty. So I'll just keep it short and leave it at that. So thank you very much.
Thank Thank you, Mr. Kirk. Chief French, front and center. Military members, Mr. Award. For meritorious service while assigned as training division lead chief petty officer at Police Area Control and Surveillance Facility, San Diego, from October 2020 to January 22. Chief French's leadership, technical acumen, and training skills enabled completion of 4 command indoctrination courses and 5 command safety stand-downs. His team accurately accounted for the training of 250 sailors, ensuring upwards of 90% command training completion. Additionally, he led 3 sailors in the refurbishment of the command officer photo board, totaling 250 man-hours, saving the command over $9,000. His superior performance is the culmination of 24 years of honorable and faithful service. Chief Petty Officer French's unswerving determination, wise judgment, and dedication to duty reflect the credit on him and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Naval Service. Given this 10th day of December 2021, Commander U.S. Navy, commanding also Fleet Area Control at the Surveillance Facility, San Diego, RV Award. Please be seated. Military members at ease. Chief French has had the honor of serving under Presidents Bill Clinton, George Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden. In addition to recognizing Chief French, the Navy takes pride in recognizing the families of its dedicated sailors and sacrifices they have made throughout the career of their loved ones. Although they were unable to attend, we take great honor in thanking Chief French's son Joshua, mother Ellen, father Ken, and brother Adam and Kenny. A fine sword, a brace of pistols or musket, or maybe a sea chest. A sea chest of fine wood and bound in brass was presented to remind the retiree of the ships and crews they served with. On behalf of the Fact Chief Petty Officer's Mess, Master Chief Wooten will present Chief French with his retirement sea chest. Chief French's sea chest depicts his career, achievements, uniqueness, and personality. It includes his rank and rating, his service dates, his list of assignments, and his call sign, Double Fox. The national ensign tops the chest is symbolic of the nation he has so faithfully served during his 24 years on active duty. Flag detail.
I'm the flag of the United States of America. My name is Old Glory. I fly atop the world's tallest buildings. I stand watch in America's halls of justice. I fly majestically over great institutions of learning. I stand guard with the greatest military power in the world. Look up and see. I stand for peace, honor, truth, and justice. I stand for freedom. I am confident, I am arrogant, I am proud. When I am flown with my fellow banners, my head is a little higher, my colors a little truer. I bow to no one. I am recognized all over the world. I am worshipped, I am saluted, I am respected, I am revered, I I am loved, and I am feared. I fought in every battle of every war for more than 200 years. Gettysburg, Shiloh, Appomattox, San Juan Hill, Trenches of France, the Argonne Forest, Anzio, Rome, the beaches of Normandy, Guam, Okinawa, Tarawa, Korea, Vietnam, the Persian Gulf, and scores of places long forgotten by all except those who were there with me. I was there. I led my soldiers, my sailors, my airmen, my Marines. I followed them. I watched over them. They loved me. I was on a small hill in Iwo Jima. I was dirty, battle-worn and tired. But my sailors and Marines cheered me, and I was proud. I was at Ground Zero in New York City on September 11th as cowardly fanatics attacked America. I was raised from the ashes of once proud buildings by brave firefighters, heroes, who risked their lives to save others, showing that America, although bloody, will never be beaten. Those who would destroy me cannot win, for I am the symbol of freedom, of one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of my own country. And when it is by those with whom I have served in battle, it hurts. But I shall overcome, for I am strong. I have slipped the surely bonds of earth, and from my vantage point on the moon, I stand watch over the uncharted new frontiers of space. I have been a silent witness to all of America's finest hours. But my finest hour comes when I am torn in strips to be used as bandages for my wounded comrades on the field of battle. When I fly half-mast to honor my soldiers, my sailors, my airmen, my Marines. And when I lie in the trembling arms of a grieving mother at the gravesite of her fallen son or daughter, I am proud. My name is Old Glory. Long may I wait, dear God. Long may I wait.
Flags are presented to Chief Frank on behalf of his mother and father to the small of USS Independence, LCS-2, for which he is the plank on. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present the guest of honor, Chief Operations Specialist, Jacob Prince.
Thank you, Captain. XO, chaps, and everyone who has come out tonight, today. 24 years. That's a long time. Sat there and I was thinking about it, that's 3/4 of my life. I've seen several things over my life. While I was on the other earth, we were the first ship to guard Kosovo when they were evacuating the embassy in '98. I've done Iraqi freedom. I've done anti-piracy ops. There for Benghazi, 9/11. I did New York City Coast Patrol. I was on a ship that participated in the first tri-carrier operations in the South China Sea. So I've seen lots of things over my career. Been to just under 24 countries, over 4 continents. Where else can you go where you get to go and see all these countries that you would never see if you weren't in the Navy? I would have never gone to any of the countries in the Middle East if I wasn't in the Navy. I've been to Bahrain a dozen times. And when you go to golf, that's pretty much every place you go to. You get used to it, you know about it. Don't forget to go to Nando's. So, I've been seeing my parents, brothers, so I'm going to be here now. down on the East Coast, the current situations, you know, couldn't make it all the way out here. I want to thank them for instilling the values in me that allowed me to succeed in the Navy. If it wasn't for what they taught me growing up, I probably would not have been as successful as I have been in the Navy. I also want to thank all the chiefs, senior chiefs, master chiefs that I've run into throughout my career that helped mentor me, shape me. All the EOs taught me what to do and sometimes what not to do. Remember one specific time when I was on the Earlsburg. I was young, but I took it upon myself that I didn't want to drink until I was 21, even though back then in Europe, if you could breathe, you could drink. But I took it upon myself to wait until I was 21. We had an individual in our division that decided, you know what, you're going to take advantage of that. And being designated crutch. I made sure he got back to the ship safe every time. We're coming back, I think we're in Fort Lauderdale. We're riding a taxi back to the ship. He was getting out of the cab and almost squashed me. I weighed 100 and nothing back then. And yeah, that would have hurt. If it wasn't for the cab grabbing his belt, I probably wouldn't be here today without a few broken bones in the files. Some of the proudest things I've had the privilege of doing, though, is mentoring sailors. My way of leading sailors is more often than not accepted by most people. I believe in letting sailors make mistakes, but be there in case they start to make a catastrophic one. You stop them, correct them, and let them take it along. When they succeed, it's not my success, it's their success. When they fail, it's my failure. Now, we're taught something similar to this during our training, but from my personal experiences, not everyone actually goes by that. But keep your chin up. I try to live my life by the fact I try to do nice things for people, not because I have to, but because I feel it's the right thing to do. Eventually, it'll come back to me, whether it's in this life or the next. I'll get it paid back to me. I honestly believe that, and if more people, in my opinion, did that way, we'd probably be a whole lot less violent of a world. Sorry, it's a little overwhelming. You know, I am going back to West Virginia. I am going to be starting woodworking business. In fact, I made the sea chest that's here today. But I think I'm going to miss the people the most in the Navy. I know that sounds cliche, but I've had commands where I did not do anything at the command at all. I've had commands where I absolutely loved it. But the one constant thing is the people. Getting to know sailors, helping them, working with them, allowing them to help me when I need it. As I got over the last year, I've had lots of help from shipmates of mine over the last year. So with that, I've never been a big fan of long speeches for these things, and I'm going to stop it right there. Again, thank you everyone for coming out, and enjoy your weekend.
I will now read the CPO retirement decree. All chiefs, active and retired, attention to the decree. You have on this day experienced that which comes to all of us who serve on active duty in our Navy. I say our Navy because your departure from active duty is in no way terminates your relationship. By law and tradition, U.S. Navy retirees are always on the roll. ever ready to lend their service when the need arises. The respect that you earn as the chief was based on the same attributes that you will now carry into retirement. You should have no regrets. Do not view your retirement as an end to an era, but rather as orders to a new and challenging assignment, to a form of independent duty. Remember well that you have been and always will be an accepted member to the most exclusive of all fraternities, that of the United States Navy Chief Petty Officers. The active duty chiefs salute you. Your retired chiefs welcome you. I wish you the traditional fair winds and following seas. Side boys, post. The order of boatswain, stand by the pipe side, has been passed on naval ships from the early 1500s through today. Spanish, French, English, Dutch, yes, all navies of the world use the boatswain side boys, and the call to bring aboard or send ashore all ships' company officers, visiting officers, dignitaries, and VIPs. The side boys will haul on the ropes and raise or lower the boarding platforms so officers will not have to climb the rat lines, which will hang over the side and used by the enlisted crew when going ashore or to get aboard. This honor was extended to visiting officers, dignitaries, and port officials. It was not uncommon for the commanding officer of a ship to order the jolly boat, a crew of 8 strong backs, side boys, and boatswain, to send an old shipmate to a shore retirement, home, never to sail on naval ships again. All hands on deck was passed. Speeches were made about great victories, battles fought upon the open sea, raging storms, weather, and voyages to distant and strange lands where the port call others only dream about. Senior Chief Sullivan will now read the watch.
For 24 years, Chief French stood the watch. While some of us were in our bunks at night, this sailor stood the watch. While some of us were in school, learning our trade, this shipmate stood the watch. Yes, even before some of us were born into this world, this shipmate stood the watch. In those years when the storm clouds of war were seen brewing on the horizon of history, this shipmate stood the watch. Many times he would cast an eye ashore and see his family standing there, needing his guidance and help, needing that hand to hold during those hard times. But he still stood the watch. He stood the watch for 24 years. He stood the watch so that we, our families, and our fellow countrymen could sleep soundly in safety each and every night, knowing that a sailor stood the watch. Today we are here to say, shipmate, the watch stands relieved. Relieved by those you have trained, guided, and led. Shipmate, you stand relieved. We have the watch.
Thanks, Mr. Sullivan. Will the guests please rise and remain standing through the rest of the ceremony? Chief French will now request the lower shore from Commander Ward for the last time. Chief Operations Specialist, United States Navy, retired, depart. Fleet Air Control Surveillance Facility, San Diego, departed. Senior Chief Operations Specialist, United States Navy, retired, departed. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the retirement ceremony. On behalf of Chief French, thank you for taking part in this time-honored tradition. We are dismissed.